it's typical me all over. I've just driven down to Reclamat and completely forgot to start the video on the little 2 Series, and the chap's already got his trolley over here and all ready to make a start on it. I did just say, do you want me to strip the grills out, fog lights, the kidney grills, and he said, no, honestly, just leave it. It's going to take me 10 minutes to get that stripped out, and they are going to crack on with it. They're going to paint the front bumper, they're going to do that wing, and they're going to do that little dent right on the edge of the bonnet there. I think you can just about probably see it. It's not that big, just a little bit of a line. And then I think this one, we can actually come and pick it up and get this one back together. I know I always do recommend and go on about Reclamat, but they are doing quite a lot of paint work for us now. And the reason I've driven down in this one is because I've come to pick up the 4 Series convertible, which actually that will be on Instagram for sale before you even see this video. And I brought it down because we did notice that there was actually some scratches on the back bumper, and that car's so beautiful we just wanted to get it bang on, and now it looks like new. So I guess I'll pick up once we come to pick this one up. So a nice quick run down to Reclamat. They're about 40 minutes from us, just down in Sandwich, actually right near Copart. So a nice quick run down there, get this one dropped off, and then basically pick up as soon as we can get this one picked back up and get it back to the workshop. Just 3 days later, look at that little car. I knew this was going to turn out to be an absolute peach, and you guys know how cheap this was when we bought it. So I brought it down here to Reclamat. They've taken the front bumper off, completely stripped it, repainted it, also done the front wing, blended it into that door, but they had a scratch and dent guy down doing some work on an Evoque. And he worked absolute magic on that dent I previously showed in this bonnet. He also, unbelievable, I've never seen him in action. Where's the dent gone that was here? You can clearly see the swirl marks. This panel has not been painted. He has got that dent out that was in that quarter panel. And this little car actually looks beautiful now. Time to get it back to the yard and actually get this one finished off. I knew it was going to be a nice, quick, easy turnaround. But of course, if you do need any paint or refinishing, Reclamat have got their own fully equipped body shop. You can see they're building a beautiful Land Rover there. They've got people working in the background. They've got a prep area. And of course, they've got the state-of-the-art spray booth, state-of-the-art. And I've also, that's another video, but that is Chris's sister's old car. And I've just driven down in that and dropped it off for some paint work. Let's get in this one and get it back to the yard. So I know all of you that actually follow the channel and have been following for a while know that we do always check our vehicles out using Car Vertical. And if you don't know, you can always use that little code up on screen. It's going to be displayed throughout this check, or hit the link in the description and you'll get a nice little discount off your check. So BMW 220 diesel 2016, odometer green, all looks good, which is lovely. Financial and legal, all green, looks good. Damage there needs attention. Ownerships 4, records found. We can click straight on the damage section and it will take us to it on the check. The vehicle was damaged. The vehicle was marked as an insurance write-off. Scrolling a little further down, you can see in November 2024, damaged, repairable, category N, non-structural. So the lightest form of damage. Of course, you've got Cat A, Cat B, Cat C, Cat A, Cat B, Cat S, Cat N, and then X. But X is not really, a lot of people say, what is category X? There's not really any such thing. They just use category X as stolen, recovered, unrecorded. And of course, S means structural and N means non-structural. You've got your B, which is a breaker only, and a category A, which needs to be crushed. They're normally fire damage. We have our market values, emissions, specs, ownership, and of course your timeline, which is very, very important on an older car like this, because you can check through everything on it. 03 2016 registered, and then the first ownership change was 05 2018, so just 2 years later. Then you've got an inspection there, 03 2019, another ownership change, 0519, and you pretty much get a gist. You can scroll through, see all your ownership changes, all of your MOTs, all of your failures. Quite often there is service inputs on here as well, and of course it was on sale there on the 9th 2024. You can click continue and just keep going through. Now, I do want to thank Car Vertical for the continued support on the channel. When you're buying a car or you're thinking about buying a car, this is your must-do check, your one-stop shop. You will find out any information you need to know about that car just by running your Car Vertical. So straight in the workshop, and it is bumper off. Don't forget, they only put 2 bolts underneath the wheel arches, 1 each side, and then they chuck 2 in the top for me, just to make sure that it can't go anywhere. So I made quite a lot of work of getting the bumper off, getting it on the stand there, getting all the trims put back in, and then I could start removing that foam absorber off the front and remove the tube behind it that sets off the bonnet actuators to throw the bonnet up, so the pedestrian protection tube. I'll remove that out of there, get the new one in, and then start the process of actually just pushing it in there. You've got to be really careful. This is actually different to any pedestrian protection tube that I've ever done before, and when you squeeze it you can feel, obviously it does its thing. But the normal, conventional one, or if that's what you'd call it, was a tube. And it actually squashed the tube. And as soon as that tube put pressure in either the end of this or the end of this, that's when it would set off the pedestrian protection. But this one actually looks like it's got like a bit of a wire in it almost. And it obviously makes and breaks contact. And that is what fired off those, let me just get one. That is what fired off these bonnet pedestrian protection, and they flip the bonnet up backwards, don't they? Of course, as well, it ruins the hinges. They've got shear bolts in them. You can't replace them. So I ordered a nice new set of hinges, and I've actually got them down there. Let's get this out the stand. And I've just given them a coat of paint, literally scotched them off and given them a coat of paint. They're both new. And I mean, we get to it in the numbers, but they were so cheap, they just wasn't worth buying used. So we've got them. I think you've probably just had a little sneak peek of what Chris is up to in the background now. But yeah, I now need to fit those bonnet hinges, fit those new actuators that fire the bonnets. They just took on and they got 1 bolt in them. And then I can fit the front bumper back up. But that's it in there, the new tube. And you can see it just plugs in one end. And the older ones actually plugged in both ends. And like I say, they was just a little plastic tube. So I guess what I'll do, because Chris is busy and I need his help to change these hinges over, I'm going to do them one at a time. I'm actually going to get all that fitted back on and start the process of getting this bumper fitted back on, because there's lots and lots of bolts, bit of masking tape there, lots and lots of bolts across the bottom of it, as you can see. You've got all the ones across the top, and then you've got just those 2 little 8mm that go up in those corners there. So let's continue on and get this one back together. So with the pedestrian protection tube inside the foam bar, get the foam bar back on, we're ready for the front bumper to go back on. So I'll get the front bumper back on, I'll put both bolts in under the wheel arches, and then just a couple in the top, and then I'll shut the bonnet down, make sure that the gaps are perfect before I actually do it up. So you can see they're down with the bonnet and then back up with the bonnet, just double checking that I'm happy with those gaps. I wasn't, so I'm just moving that side back slightly, then I'll shut the bonnet down. I am going to throw these gaps way out in a minute anyway, because I'm going to be doing the bonnet hinges. No one wants to get it out, but you've got no choice. I love cars like this, and I still can't believe this car was written off. Look how nice this little car's turned out. I can't wait to do the numbers and just the minimum amount of money that we've spent on it as well for the parts, because they are available. Let's get this bonnet shut down. It just looks absolutely perfect. I've got them hinges to do. Chris is going to help me with those in a minute. Like I say, I'm going to do them one at a time. Also got to change those actuators for the hinges, so we get both of them on, do the hinges one at a time, then we're going to get it up in the air. And I did notice there was something actually dragging on this front wheel here, so we'll find out what's on there as well. It was only when I was braking I could hear it, but what I can see is it's got lovely nice new discs on it, and it's got nice new pads on it, and they're not cheap either. They are red stuff, so quite good pads. Anyway, let's continue on and get this one done, crunch the numbers, and hopefully sell it to one of you guys. Let's get on with it. So up in the air and then on with the under trays. Now I actually sit there and scratch my head and I thought, is this for this car? I actually had it round the wrong way, spun it round and got the bolts in. There's just loads of little 8mm, so I've got an 8mm on the gun there, got the under tray up underneath, just quickly gunned in those 8mm as the under tray on. Off with the front wheel, I've got the rear and the front section of the driver's side wheel arch liner to put in. On the passenger side, it is only the front section I've got to do, but again, it's just a couple of 10mm plastic nuts and then all your little 8mm, and I've got that on the gun, so made quite light work of it. And that is all the under trays back on. Well, sorry, apart from one. But the one thing I did notice underneath this car that I didn't notice when I did take them down is this car's actually, it has been off-road. Well, I say it's been off-road, it's obviously gone into a field, hasn't it? Because look how thick that mud is there on the gearbox. And you can see there's all bits of grass and debris hanging out of it there. That's, yeah. It's all extra weight. And this one is nearly out of MOT. And you can't go and present it like that, even though most of it's probably hidden up underneath a cover. It is still pretty thick on there. So I'm going to give that a good clean up before I put the cover back on. And then I think we are pretty much ready to bring this one down, do the hinges, and that will be it. I'm going to point out, quite a lot of you do always say, oh, the forklifts cause lots of damage on the cars. And to be fair, we've never really had a lot of damage, but you do get the odd bit of damage. And I'm going to say that these are definitely from a forklift. So you've just got a little bit of scratch in there on the lower arm, and you've got a bit there on the lower arm as well. But of course, this car's going to go for an MOT, and it is going to, as usual, go for a full four-wheel alignment. Let's get it down, get those hinges swapped out, get the rest of these plastic trims put on there, and get this one nipped in the bud. So onto the bonnet hinges. Dan kindly held this up for me. He was working in the other room. He come out, he held it for me while I swapped out that passenger side hinge. With the driver's side one, I actually managed to pretty much do it on my own, but he did come out last knockings and help me just to hold it up while I got that one on there. There we go, all finished, but am I happy with this gap here? Not really. Chris is in the other room working on the Morris with Dan, and when he gets in, I'm going to get him to help me just shove that bonnet just forward on that hinge. So you see that I've replaced both of the hinges, but this one you can see there is just slightly back. If I've just pulled that forward and just dropped that down a tiny little bit, it is of course going to close that gap up, isn't it? And then open up that little tiny tip on the end there, but overall it looks perfect, doesn't it? And once that's done, you'll never know that this car was damaged. So just two little jobs left to do on this car. And one of them is that. Let's just break that off. That is like a black trim. Now, this trim, I'm going to go on about it because to buy it second-hand pattern is actually 75 quid off of eBay, and it's 2 days delivery. And you can even buy it from like a pattern part place that we've got, like Prasco we use, and it's 80 quid from them. Or trade, it's £36 genuine from BMW. We said it time and time again, on these cars, you just might as well check with the dealer. I've got the hinges from the dealer, pedestrian protection, tube, and loads of other little bits and pieces, and it does work out cheaper. And then after we have changed that, the last thing to change is that number plate. Because we didn't get a front one with it, I bought a pair for it, and it is, obviously this is a GB plate. I'm just going to put this one on and have a matching set of number plates on it. Right, let's get all that swapped over, and then fingers crossed, because I haven't done it, let's get this booked in for an MOT. So onto the rear trim, and I'm just breaking off the little bits that were left over. Going to push them through and then just pop that new trim in there. I nearly did put the trim upside down, but I got it in there, new rear number plate with two nice new black-headed bolts, of course, to go in there so that you can read it all perfectly, and it really does look neat and tidy. I think you would agree, a nice fresh number plate really does the trick on a car. And also you've got that nice new black trim there. But the bit I have noticed is, see this bit of a bulge in the bumper there? I'm not really sure where that's come from, because there's no damage down there and it looks like it's actually pulled this way. But then we did say, didn't we think this car's been off-road, so when it's run over something, has it caught on something there? Or when they've pulled it out, because this had a towing eye in the front of it when we got it, when they've pulled it out, has that got hooked on a branch, on a tree, on anything, a rock, and actually been pulled out? Actually, I've just noticed there is a little mark on it there and a couple of scratches, but it's too late now, it's back from paint. Now, my only other concern with this is we need to plug it in. People do always ask me in the comments, what is that computer you're using? And I do say it time and time again, they're all pretty much the same now. They've all got the same software on them. This one's an Autel MK808, that's what it's called. But the Think one that we've got, the ThinkPad, it's exactly the same computer. We've also got another one up there, I can't even think what it's called, and that is the same as well, same software on there. Anyway, I need to get these bonnet actuators reset, and I'm hoping that they do reset. Now, BMW, as a rule, the airbag module does reset, and it is only the pedestrian protection. So I'm going to get this all fired up. We'll log in, do a quick code scan on it, and fingers crossed we can get it to go out, because I have booked this one in for an MOT, and it does come up on here, pedestrian protection. I'm going to do a very, very quick demo. So I've plugged in the little dongle into the OBD socket. You click on it, automatic search, it's found BMW, and then you go to read, and it should read the VIN number. In most cases it does, and as soon as it does do that read, you can just continue on to the next stage. So okay, now it's read it, then it gives you exactly what the car is. You confirm that that's correct, click yes on there, and then in the next stage you can do individual modules in the car, or you can do a full health check, which is what 9 times out of 10 I do, and that will bring up any codes that the car's got. So it has come up there now, look, you can see pedestrian protection system fault, but we've replaced all of that with new. So new tube, new actuators, and it works off of the airbag module, so I'm hoping that that will clear. Establishing communication, diagnostic, and then auto scan. So that's what I'll do. And now it is doing pretty much a scan of the whole car. Let me do this window up, because Chris and Dan are chatting in the background there. This may take some time, so what I'll do is just pause it there. Oh, here we go. So engine, diesel, electronics 3, airbag 6. They're coming up pretty quick, aren't they? 100%, it's done it that fast. So airbag advanced crash safety module. Let's click on that, and we'll have a look what it actually says for this particular example. Read codes. It's gonna be pedestrian protection, pedestrian, 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 pedestrian. So if we go back, escape, don't forget this car's had a flat battery as well. All of these codes, what we're going to do is a quick erase. We're going to clear all of them, and then we're going to drive the car and see if any of them do come back. I've booked it in for an MOT, we're going to take it, but it's a waste of time taking it if you can't get that airbag light out, because you'll never get a car to pass for an MOT with an airbag light on. It is a big part of the MOT. Right, erasing codes, what's come back? Airbag advanced crash safety module 1 fault. All the other codes have cleared, that one has come back, so I'm not going to take it until I've established what the issue is here. Pedestrian protection sensor optical fibre communication fault. Now I need to just double check that it's plugged in. Let's do that. Now there's absolutely no reason to tell porkies, because you're going to get found out, aren't you? This car has still got that code, but I'm going to almost guarantee when we go back this time, ignition on, it will come up there in a minute, pedestrian protection, and go to quick erase. I'm going to say it's going to go, and the reason I'm going to say it's going to go, erasing, past no faults, that has now gone. And that was down to human error, guys, because I never had the pedestrian protection tube actually plugged in on the car. Right, battery's getting a bit low. Airbag light's gone. Tyre pressure. But everything has gone out. The airbag light has gone out. Let's get this one off to the MOT, get the tracking, balancing, get everything done and crunch the numbers on it. I'm pretty made up with this car. I really do like this car. Washer fluid low. I guess we better top that up as well. Right, let's get it for test. I'll just pop to the CAF. Nice little CAF that. If anyone's on the Medway City estate, while they're doing the MOT, I don't think we're going to have any problems with that car. It drives very, very nicely. I'm going to have to put some more diesel in it on the way home though. I said it was a good car. It has got an advisory on one shock absorber. It said light misting, so I'll have a look at it when I get back on the ramp. The thing is, I did take this car, I had it up on the ramp and I didn't see any light misting on the shocks, and I definitely did check them. So we'll see how we get on. Fuel reserve. Let's go and get some air put in the tyres and get some fuel in it and then head back to the yard. But if that's the only problem we got, we are laughing. And this was cheap, wasn't it? Let's get back to the yard. So we know we're coming to the end when we're at the car wash. Nice little blow off under the bonnet. It was a bit dusty. Obviously it's been down the paint shop for a little while. And of course the whole car needed a good wash, inside and out. And a car always looks nice with nice clean glass. So let's get it valeted inside and out, get back to the yard and show you around it. Honestly, I'm going to say it. Do you know what I love most about this car?
Go on.
You ain't had to touch it.
Well, I was about to say that's what I love.
It's been lovely, isn't it? Because while you've been doing other jobs, I've been able to crack on with that car.
What did I do? I just done the wing, didn't I?
Edged it up.
Yeah. I prepped the wing for you. I think that's all I've done, isn't it?
Before this car goes, what I'd really like to do, can you see that just there, Chris, just above the headlight? I just want to bring that bonnet forward, but I need you there with me.
Yeah. I think it may need to go down a bit, just
at the top.
Yeah, just down.
But look at that little car. Let's include a picture of it from Copart. And look at it now. Just 2 videos on it, and it genuinely is, well, it was from the start a very, very nice car, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I've just been down. That does look slightly a shade off. We haven't even had that wing painted, but
no, minimal, isn't it?
It's a 16 reg car, isn't it? But look how tidy and straight it is.
Yeah.
It has got, now it's all been washed, it has got a couple of little marks on the bumper, but again, I'm not
put that new trim on there.
Yeah, new trim's on.
It's going to be a nice cheap car for someone.
It is, isn't it? And of course, I've had the inside done as well.
Yeah.
Just chucked a bit of diesel in it.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, nice.
Crunch the numbers?
Crunch the numbers, yeah.
Find it a new owner.
That's the way.
Let's do it. It was almost as bad as one of your jokes. That's why I never used it.
That was probably a Tony Blackburn.
I don't know what it.
Sunday morning joke.
It was definitely Sunday someone weren't awake joke. That's for sure.
I tell Amanda sometimes, but she don't find them funny.
No.
Right.
It was cheap when we bought it.
Yeah.
And we said that from day dot. We revealed the price. I know you've got the full price there, but it was actually 2,250.
2,250 bid price. So that came out at 2,764.80 with the fees.
Yeah.
Then you went off to Bridgend Recycling. Always look after.
They do, don't they? And they are like 1 series, 2 series, so they're getting on now, the parts.
So that was £200 for all them bits.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Then from the dealer we had hinges and pedestrian protection.
Yeah, can I just mention those hinges?
Yep.
So again, we say this time and time again, please check your dealer before you buy parts for a BMW, because those hinges were 40 something quid each. And to buy them from eBay, people want over £100 each for them. Yeah. So just check.
So those came to 244.39. Then you got that rear bumper trim, which was £44.
36 with a VAT,
Yeah, again, dearer on eBay.
It was £75 for a pattern one,
Yeah, crazy. Pair of number plates, we got there £20. A2 tyres for the 4-wheel alignment, £40.
Yeah.
MOT, £40. Paint and materials and the paint work, £320.
Yeah,
Can't argue with that.
They look after us, yeah.
We've got a valet at £22. Diesel, you put 20 quid's worth in,
Yeah.
and then we got 4 wheel bolts, £20, and that comes out at a grand total of 3735.19.
I said that was going to be a cheap car. These really are your bread and butter cars.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like when we bought that Volkswagen Up,
Yeah.
and we said, "Cool, we'd like one of them a week." Here's our other one that we've had this
Yep,
week.
yep.
We've had one a week. We had
Yep.
that last week and this week. It's fantastic.
It's nice to turn them around a bit quick, isn't
Yeah.
it, some of those, because like the Focus we're doing, that's, you know, a lot,
Yeah.
lot more involved, isn't it? But so, you've done a bit of research. I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, I have. There's a Category S one. If you type in there, 2016, 220 diesel, cheapest first, and we went, and the cheapest one that come up was £6,600, previous Category S. The car looks nice.
Yeah.
Or is that...
And then I think you found that one as well, Rob.
7,500
with
and...
145,000 miles.
Yeah, so it just shows you.
That's, you know, the cheapest.
Normal ones are up between 8 and 10,000
Yeah.
quid. But you know me and Chris, we're not going to be greedy.
No.
And when I say I think we're having it off by selling that car for, how much we got there? 5,750. That's the cheapest one of them in the world. I know we're going to get the regulars that say it's way too cheap, you can ask more for it. We're not about that. We're about getting that turned round, getting it out the door and getting our nice little profit of 2,000.
£14.81 pre-tax profit.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. But if you can turn them over like that, you can go again with that bit of
Of course
money.
you can.
Buy another one, buy another one.
Of course you can.
You could sit on that car for 3 months and hold out for £8,000.
Yep.
But that bit of money's tied up.
It is.
Won't earn you a penny.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I think, personally, this morning, I had it off again like that. Do you, with that car that come through?
Oh, yeah.
I won it on Friday.
Yeah.
So, the next video after this is going to be on that Black Focus, right?
Yeah, most likely.
Which is Sunday.
Yep.
For the Wednesday, I'm going to do a video on that car I won today.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be another one like that.
Yeah.
An absolute steal. I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
I hit the bid button. They asked for double the amount of money.
That's right.
We ignored it, and this morning they let us have it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, that is the end.
Of the series and the videos on the 2 series.
It is.
Now, you know I've run that car down to Reclamette. I've driven it back from Reclamette. I've also been doing loads of little bits of running around for it. I took it for an MOT. I've well covered the snag period of that car. It drives lovely, and I'm going to put that car on Instagram on Friday. So please don't email me now saying, I really want that car, because we just don't do it like that. No. You've got to wait till that pops up on Instagram, and it's fastest finger first. Drop us an email, save the email, even write it in your drafts, get ready to hit send, and it's sales, SIUK, @gmail.com. That is in the description down below as well. Also, if you want to follow us on our other socials, it's Salvage Rebuilds, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and if you want to follow Chris, you just add Chris on the end of it. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share, hit that thumbs up, and we'll see you very, very soon in the next one.
You know what we didn't do?
What?
No joke.
No joke, Chris.